things.
Senator Nyonka, he will answer, but now we have to talk about the AFCON Stadium, because the plan is that the three countries, Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda, will be hosting AFCON in 2027. But I'm just wondering, Senator Maanzo,
yes.
What is supposed to happen in this country? Because we have different departments, including the public works that is supposed to be overseeing government programs and projects. What happens, and when do you decide when to assign the military or to assign the public works the work of supervision? But what is going on here?
You know, first of all, we should have a policy in the country. We have different ministries, and unfortunately, you know, most of these decisions must be processed through Parliament. But Parliament has a very big problem. We have seen members of Parliament, they pass a law. When they go to the grassroots, they find the law is not applicable. Therefore, that's going to happen through so many other things. You remember, as soon as this government came to power, you know, meat processing and the slaughtering was being done by the defense. It was taken away back to Department of Livestock. And a few days later, it was taken away back to defense. You remember the Nairobi city was being refurbished by the defense. There's nothing wrong with the defense helping with development. But the question is, what has happened to the people and the structures, the contractors, who should be working on these activities and you know, making sure that they employ and things like that. Now, the military has a budget, its own budget. Now, when the Minister of Sports have a budget for the stadium, why is it the Minister of Sports, through a contractor, not dealing with the stadium? But the last 10 years or so, even 15 years, all the stadiums which were supposed to be completed, from Eldoret to Makueni to Mombasa, they are none. You know, contractors have been on site, they have not been funded. So I'm wondering what will happen then. Are we going to take a budget for youth and sports and send it to the...
What is the status of the stadium in water?
It's not complete yet. And it's not yet ready for use. The problem is that the contractors have not been paid for their work, therefore they are unable to proceed and work more. And there has been a lot of allegations of when contractors are paid, you know, government officers want the same money. They want the cuts. And therefore they have become so frustrating. We need a firm government. You know, people want you know, the people in management of sports. So that they frustrate the contractors. And I believe now, you know, the military has its own place to defend the borders of this country. If you now deploy the military to be the ones, you know, participating in something like this, I know from practice, the only time the military comes in, like when Parliament was being renovated, is just to make sure the security, you know, is checked. And I believe it's the same thing with the stadium, just to ensure that certain quarters which are likely to be used by the presidents are secured enough. But they cannot be the ones doing the whole project, you know, from, you know, the small stones to the grass to the walls. I think there's something not right there. And it cannot be something announced, you know, publicly without input of Parliament. And Parliament in this country need to get serious. Okay,
so you raise very critical points there about the involvement of Parliament. But do we know if there's actually a plan to construct that stadium in the current financial year budget?
It should have been budgeted. It should have come through the budget, so that the budget provisions show a stadium and how much money is going to be used.
Have you seen any?
That I haven't seen, although that's mainly the work of the National Assembly. The Committee of Supply, through the Department of Sports, should be having that particular budget. If it isn't in the budget, then there is a problem.
Dr. Matunga, have you seen any provision on